Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hollywood After Dark, episode number 37 for the 29th of July 2021, now officially the 30th. But today's been a crazy day. Scarlett Johansson sues the House of Mouse, and I just got home from seeing Suicide Squad. Let's talk all about that and a very surprising announcement that may have me eating all sorts of crow right now. Howdy, everyone. Welcome to the show tonight. I know we are running a little bit late, about hour and some change perhaps, but there's a reason for that. There's an absolute reason. Tonight, I went and saw a movie. I went and saw a movie that I've been waiting for some time now. It's one that I have probably been very excited to see ever since July 2018 when James Gunn was fired from Disney. And of course, this is his first film back ever since that whole thing went to pass. And of course, you can check it out on the channel. My reaction to the Suicide Squad. I went a nice solid 70 miles northbound to Linwood, Washington to watch it in a very packed AMC theater. And I have to say, the movie was a lot of fun and definitely worth the trip to see it on the biggest screen that I could. And man, it's going to be available for you all to watch here very soon on HBO Max, but I do recommend seeing it in the largest theater possible. And just before we dive into everything tonight, let me quickly give a shout out to the channel members. You folks keep the channel alive, my car filled with gas and able to make the trek to go and see a movie early. I always appreciate you all. If you want to get your name on this list by just becoming a channel member, link right down in the video description, or if you want to support in a more ongoing method that doesn't give 30% of the funds to YouTube, patreon.com/Matt Jarbo is a great way to do that, because this is the very soon we're almost running out of the contest here. If you want to get your hands on this Indiana Jones 40 Years Raiders of the Lost Ark Life magazine, I'll be sending it off to a lucky winner this month. Just become a member, join the Patreon, give a super chat, any of that good stuff, and you can get your hands on that. And of course, that is my 30-second commercial pimping myself. And let's talk to you guys and see what you are all up to today. So Bradley here says, what's up, everyone? How you doing? We've got Music Man saying, hey, what's going on? Davey Crotch Kick, love the name, says here, wow, that was loud. I need new undies. This stream is way louder than the video I was just watching. That's how I roll, Davey. I like to make you feel alive by scaring the bejesus out of you. Shiny here says, hey, what's going on? Lord Slug says, hope we get more Suicide Squad talk tonight. I mean, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but we can start off by talking about the movie, and I can give you guys my general thoughts on it, simply because there is a lot of good stuff in that film to check out. I don't want to spoil it just yet, simply because you guys haven't seen it. And so there's really not a lot that I can say about it that I think would probably be too spoilery. I mean, there's a lot that I can cover, I guess. I don't know. If you guys have any general questions, I can answer those. Anthony asking, did I see the Lloyd Kaufman cameo? Yes. It was about probably 2 or 3 shots he was in. Doesn't say anything. Blink and you miss it. But I saw him in the trailer, and what you see in the trailer is generally the Lloyd Kaufman cameo appearance. There's not much, but it's definitely pretty good. Rational here asking, but is it better than the Ayer cut? Well, we haven't seen the Ayer cut. All we know is David Ayer put out a statement today, which is something I do want to touch upon here in a little bit. And the thing is, I would say, yes, on a movie level perspective, the Suicide Squad is a more competent film than 2016 Suicide Squad. I really like this movie. I can't wait to watch it again. I also really enjoyed 2016. I've never been a hater of that movie. So for me, this is one that I'm like, yeah, you know, like it felt different. Maybe I went in, I don't want to say with like a chip on my shoulder, but like the David Ayer comment today was in the back of my mind while I was watching this, as was James Gunn's entire situation. That was kind of like watching this guy who was canceled effectively 3 years ago come back and just give us something so absolutely wild and violent and crazy and over the top that it was just something cool to see. And so I had a lot of mixed emotions, and nothing to do with the movie itself, but it was all personal perception and everything else. What was crazy was Zach's name's on this. So was Zach and Debbie and Walter Hamada all share an executive producer credit on this film. They're all in the same title card. So that's going to blow the heads off of some Walter Hamada haters out there. Some people out there that are, losing their little mind and freaking out about that a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely pretty wild. But what we got here is Shiny with a $7.50 super chat. Thank you, Shiny. Says a lot of people who watch Suicide Squad say there's gore and blood. Is there really a lot? Yes. Yes, there is. There is a lot of blood and gore. yeah, that's what I'll say about that. I won't give away anything else. Yeah, there's a lot of it. That's a good amount. It's a really good amount. So Lord Slug here says no one cares about the Ayer cut. Move already. Gunn is the new sheriff in town. He's doing an amazing job. I still want to see the Ayer cut. I do. I really do. I want to see the nuance to these characters that he brought to the table, because this is like a new iteration of these characters. It doesn't reference anything which we already knew about, because that's already been said. And even after the movie, there was this Q&A, this not safe for the web Q&A, where Joel Kinnaman was like, this was like playing a whole new character. And he didn't say that it wasn't like, he said this was like playing a whole new character, a different dynamic. And it was a little bit, it was a little bit different. I would say they paid, I don't want to say homage, but they, the feeling of what happened after the last movie's kind of there. But at the same time, this is a different film. You could look at this as a multiverse version of this, kind of. But at the end of the day, if you don't like the Ayer cut, then this movie's for you. And if you like the Ayer cut, then this movie's also for you. But I think a lot of us who have been in the Snyder fight for as long as we have, and like all the bullshit from the last couple of weeks has kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say it soured me. It didn't sour me, but like that was on the back of my mind going in. And for me, I definitely need to, I'm going to watch it again next week, 100% on HBO Max. So, is there nudity? Yes. Quick. It's quick. No, there's a couple shots of one real prominent shot. There is male nudity, and surprising. The guy who did it was very much, they probably put a prosthetic penis on him, but it was pretty big. Do I think that James Gunn will stick with DC? I do, actually. Yeah, I really do. I really, really, really do. Shiny here says, let's talk about Zack Snyder, because, we don't talk about him enough. That is very true. Anthony, I don't know if I am doing call-ins or not. Probably not, because it's so late. And I definitely don't want to be on for like 2-3 hours. You know what I mean? Ryan here says, is it really one of the greatest DC films of all time? Almost on par with The Dark Knight? No. The Dark Knight this is a fun comic book movie, but make no mistake that this is a comic book movie. The Dark Knight was a film. It was a film that featured comic book characters. This features a gigantic intergalactic starfish. And it's awesome. But it's still a gigantic intergalactic starfish. And you would not be expecting that. The movie does have some nice twists and turns. A couple moments where you go, oh, holy shit. I did not see that coming. And at the same time, if you've also watched a lot of the trailers, you do see a lot of bits of what's happening. And if you've read some of the leaks like I have, then some stuff actually was true. And that was unfortunate. And I'm not going to go into that, because that actually really pissed me off. And I don't want to say it sullied my feeling on some stuff. I just don't want to say what it is yet. I'll wait until we do a proper spoiler discussion next week. But one thing really did bother me, and I haven't quite processed my feelings on it yet. And it's, yeah. But then again, also a bit of that is also loyalty to 2016. So yeah, anyway, let's see here. There's too much male nudity and sex scenes these days. They always focus on the guy's ass. Not really. This one has a penis a couple times. Am I going to check out the Green Knight. Maybe not in theaters though. To me, it doesn't really. I haven't seen a trailer though yet. So there's that. H Bart's here asking, is King Shark God? He is so far a descendant of a god, as they say in the trailer. And King Shark is also. Are you saying is King Shark Groot? King Shark in this case, a lot of people probably think that he is the Groot. He is not the Groot. There's another character that you could argue would be the Groot, and it's not Weasel. There's another character named Sebastian. I will not say what Sebastian is, but Sebastian is going to be something that people are going to absolutely effing love. So there's that. And then Underhaven here says, damn, no Harley Quinn tits. You know what? I mean, Margot Robbie has no trouble with nudity, obviously, but at the same time, this is, you don't see her. I'm sorry, you don't see anything. Is Harley Quinn revealed as a two-spirit? Kind of. No, I'm kidding. Is it good or CGI blood shittiness? Oh, no, it's good. It's good gore. It's very good gore. Very good gore. Is King Shark Drax? No, King Sharks would, I mean, yeah, okay, maybe a little bit. But King Shark is great. How is Cena? I loved Cena in the movie. I really did. He brought it in ways that I'm like, man, if this is James Gunn actually got a really good performance out of John Cena, especially the jokey joke stuff. They did a really solid job with that. And that's something that I would like to see more from Cena. And I think Peacemaker will definitely give us that. I think though, a lot of people are going to walk away really enjoying Cena for most of the movie. Idris Elba is amazing as Bloodsport. He nailed it. Harley Quinn. I saw geeks here asking, how is Harley Quinn? Harley Quinn, look, you don't even need to go back and watch Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is a trash movie, and I don't say that very often. It is a trash movie compared to this. Her fight scenes in this, fucking awesome. Awesome. Her fight scenes in this were great, and they actually felt like they were realistic. Granted, they were really over the top, but they were still stylized, but they felt really good while watching them. Whereas in Birds of Prey, the Chad Stahelski came in and they reshot some action scenes. He did John Wick 2 and 3 specifically. And but the storyline of Birds of Prey was crap. And it was just not good. This completely made up for that. If you need a Harley Quinn fix, watch Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad. Leave Birds of Prey at home. Don't even bother. Don't even go check it out again. It's not good. This one gives you the Harley Quinn that you want, and in a multitude of ways. It's great. There's again, she does some stuff that you do expect, and she does some things that you don't expect. And at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, it's Harley, but you still love her nonetheless. You still really enjoy her. So, let's see. James Gunn was the best choice for this kind of movie. I completely agree. Is the body count high? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Adam. The body count. The body count is so high. Shiny here asking, did Harley eat a sandwich? No, she did eat an apple, I think, but that's about it. Let's see here. Is Superman referenced outside of what you saw in the trailer with Bloodsport? No, not at all. And Fourth here says, I was hoping Nathan Fillion was playing the Holy Avenger from Super. No, but that would be pretty funny. But either way, he did a great job in this one here. He's Arm Fall Boy. He's the detachable kid. Is there a post-credit scene? There are technically two, one of which you don't expect, and the other one sets something up that is coming next year. And it's not much, but it sets something up, and it's okay. Command Unit here with a $15 shekel super chat. Thank you. Says, I'm still confused about the name though. Are you talking about Peacemaker or are you talking about the Suicide Squad or Birds of Prey? You have to be more specific there, buddy. I really appreciate that. Are there any really dark moments in the movie? Define dark. There are times where the film itself was dark, just the way that they shot it, but no, nothing that would really, there's one moment. There's one moment where it would get, but it's going to make you look at another character in another way. That a character that you're like, oh, cool. And then you're like, oh, that's a jerky thing to do. And then that has a really awesome follow-up moment. So it's like, you know, it's going to be kind of mileage may vary on that, to be honest with you. But it's not that dark. It's not as dark as you might think. It is very lighthearted, and the comedy is generally always there, and it's something usually pretty fucked up. Are there any hero cameos in the movie? Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. How is Weasel? I will admit I want more Weasel. I will admit I want more Weasel, and I hope we get it, to be honest with you. How is Polka Dot Man? Polka Dot Man literally steals the show. He literally steals the show. You will love Polka Dot Man because they took one of the most useless characters outside of Condiment King and they turned him into an actual character who is very complicated and is very fucked up and is very interesting and just a lot of fun in general. David Dastmalchian, I can never say his last name properly, knocked it out of the park, dude. They need to up his character in Ant-Man 3. You know, they need to really up his character, give him something to do. Does Harley have areolas? Are they pale white? I don't know. We don't see them in the movie. How is Ratcatcher 2? Again, Ratcatcher 2, awesome. She is the emotional heart of the film. And she's great. Her acting is great. Her ability, you'd be surprised, actually is really good. And she's just a genuinely nice person who is kind of caught up with this group. And she's like always like the eternal optimist. It's very interesting. And she's great. Awesome. Her and Idris Elba have a great relationship. Her and King Shark have a great relationship. She's just kind of like naturally loving and naturally kind. And it just kind of irradiates that. And it's very, she is who you will probably spend a lot of time wanting to see more of, where you'll be rooting more for Harley, rooting more for Bloodsport. But yeah, there's a lot of good things in the film. You know who we need to see? Kite Man. I completely agree. Is the story great? The story is, I would put it, if I'm going to put it into a perspective, I would say that the story is kind of like a political thriller. You know what I mean by that? Where it's like, it feels small, but also kind of large. Like there are implications for bad things like to go down, and it works as a very centralized story. Like you don't see, like there's not a lot of setup. There's not a lot of buildup. It goes right into the action. You get the story through some flashbacks, but then again, those are mostly just character moments. And then you do get a few things here and there. It's a very straightforward thing. Go here, do this, get time off your sentence. It really is like that. But it's what they find out when they're there, and the character interactions and the way it's all kind of put together and the way it's shot and the way they do things. It feels like a bit of a spy thriller / political action movie. At times, it's really well done. The story is actually really, really good. Does Stallone sell it as King Shark? Oh, dude, 100%. 100%. Is Amanda Waller in the film? No. Viola Davis is in the film, and she is as much of a See You Next Tuesday as you would think. You would definitely see, yeah, she's awesome in the movie. Who's my favorite member of the squad? My favorite member of the squad is Polka Dot Man. I really like Polka Dot Man. So, okay, Lord Slug here says, Gunn had a list of villains he wanted for his film, but that didn't include the like Deathstroke, Mr. Freeze, Solomon Grundy, and KG Beast. Yeah, I think he went for smaller characters because he knew that if he could do smaller characters, Marvel, Jesus, you can clearly tell, like, as DC let him do what he wanted. He said from his first pitch to the way the movie came out, it was basically how he pitched it. They didn't interfere. They didn't push him any certain way. They let him do his thing. And as a result of doing his thing, they got this really wonderful movie out of it that a lot of people are really vibing on. And again, this is nothing to do with David Ayer or the previous administration over there at Warner Brothers, the leadership team. This was them kind of learning their lesson a little bit. And honestly, like something like this is it's fun to watch. And it's also super spectacle. Tons of CG, like in the ending is all crazy, but it is massively, massively violent in so many goddamn ways. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let's see. Command Unit here says, can't wait for Man of Steel and the Wonder Woman and the Birds of Prey. Oh yeah. Yeah, I get you. Um, yeah, I would argue that they're probably not going to do that again. But obviously, it's yeah, they might do Suicide Squad 2 or The Suicide Squad. I do think there will be a sequel to this. Ashier says, "Hey Matt, was your theater 100% capacity, and did you worry about COVID even though you're vaccinated?" Look, I wore my mask while I wasn't eating my popcorn or drinking my drink, because I did get myself popcorn and something to drink because I wanted to kind of celebrate going back. And the theater, like, so when I got there, my friend and I, we thought we were going to be late because this was first come, first serve. And we had to drive past Seattle by like 30 miles to get up to this town called Linwood, or maybe 20 miles. It was up past this town it was up there. And, it took me almost an hour to get to the meeting point to meet my friend because of traffic coming out of Olympia. And I was worried, Thursday night, 5 o'clock traffic trying to get through Seattle is going to be a pain in the ass. Thankfully, that didn't happen. We actually made it there by 6 o'clock. And when we made it there by 6 o'clock, we still had an hour and a half wait until the movie started. And there was only like 20 people in line ahead of us. And there were some people wearing their masks and there were some people not wearing their masks and whatever, and as we got into the theater, we got our spot and, we were both wearing our masks. And the guy sat down next with his wife, and he's all like, he goes, "I'm not too sure what the guidelines are for this one." He goes, "I'm vaccinated. Are you guys vaccinated?" And we're like, yeah, we're vaccinated. And he's like, "All right, cool." And he sits down. So then I just went, I'm like, "Yeah, but the question is, what vaccine did you get?" And he goes, "Oh, I got Moderna, and that shit fucked me up." And I'm like, "That fucked me up too." So we started chit-chatting about like being vaccinated, and then also how bad Moderna was and things along those lines. And that's kind of going to be the conversation, I think, going forward when people start kind of going back into these kind of things. But everyone was very respectful. A lot of people were wearing their masks. The theater was, I would say, probably about 80% capacity. People just didn't show up, but it was still really packed, but it wasn't a big problem. I was a little worried, I put my mask back on like after I finished my popcorn. I'm like, all right, I should probably just wear it. I was wearing my special mask that has a nose guard so I can breathe a little easier. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm a little paranoid, but like, I washed my hands immediately afterward and did what I felt I needed to do. So we'll have to wait and see. I think I should be fine. But it is something that's going to be on your mind. And even my friend who I was with, who is a diehard movie theater going friend, he's like, "I wouldn't have gone and seen this in theaters if you didn't invite me." And he's like, "And I've just been happy watching shit at home." And I'm like, yeah, like that's kind of the thing. So, it's so yeah, basically it's a good movie. It's a fun film. I recommend everyone watch it. I would recommend people see it in theaters versus seeing it at home unless you have a really big ass TV. And it was really, I'll tell you this though, as I bring in Underhaven here. Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey.
With the guy that I was talking to, we got to talking about Zack Snyder, because that's kind of, like the Snyder cut and the Ayer cut and everything. And both my friend and this guy next to us were bitching about the aspect ratio of the Snyder cut. And then I was trying to explain to them the aspect ratio, like how it works. And the guy's like, "Yeah, but like I've got a big TV and I don't want bars on the side." I'm like, "All right, man. I get it. Yeah, Ryan, he has like, Linwood. Yeah, I went to Linwood, dude. I went to Linwood. That is how far away I went. So there's that. But anyway, what's going on, Anna? How you doing?
Not much, just chilling out.
Chilling.
Yeah.
Chilling. Hey. So let me ask you a question, because we've been talking about this now for like 20 minutes, and I know people probably want to move on to other topics here. You've known me for a while.
Yes.
How funny do you think it would be for me to have to eat crow?
On what? On The Rock being a rock star? I mean, a movie
No.
star?
Because I've already proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's an entertainer.
All right. Well, we're moving on. Well, okay, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, when it comes to, let's say, my commentary about the Snyderverse and how I think that it's probably not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, it would. You got to admit, I've been pretty adamant. I've been pretty stubborn in my approach to it. What do you think? What you think it'd be funny to have me eat crow?
What, like, and have it turn out that like the Snyderverse is going to continue?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have any issue with that, I suppose. I still do think that Zack Snyder's better off working with Netflix. I think he's probably happier there, and I think it's probably the best. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't
Well,
mind seeing a continuation, obviously.
I don't think it's going to be Zach, but I think his characters might continue.
Really? I think, okay,
So,
that'd be interesting.
so according to Looper, you won't believe who is returning to the DCEU for Batgirl.
Who?
J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon.
Nice.
So this broke today, and I jokingly put on Twitter, like a crow, and I'm like, dinner time? Question mark. In which case, a film junkie Dave, who is a buddy of mine, he gives me a lot of shit. I give him a lot of shit. We give each other a lot of shit about this. Our opinions largely differ, but that's kind of how it is. So he was like, eat up. So this particular story today broke from the Hollywood Reporter, not your Tom, Dick, and Harry blog. And they're saying here that J.K. Simmons is currently in discussions to come back to playing the role of Commissioner Jim Gordon that he did in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Such great casting. Really,
it is great casting. Or even you could just say 2017's Justice League, because he was in both. I think, but he was more prominently featured in Zack Snyder's. There's no details yet about Batgirl, about anything else. But the question then becomes, if J.K. Simmons comes back as Commissioner Gordon, that would firmly place Batgirl in Zack Snyder's universe, which would in essence be a continuation of the Snyderverse, even though he's not at the helm of it.
Is that really the Snyderverse at that point, though? I mean, it might have some characters in common, but if it's not under his creative direction. Also, like, J.K. Simmons, it's not exactly like there hasn't been precedent before for him to play the same character in a different continuity. I mean, he's been he's been fucking J. Jonah Jameson in the MCU and the original Sam Raimi trilogy. Maybe they just really liked him in the role and they're just willing to bring that aspect over. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're continuing this continuity.
Right now you are absolutely breaking the heart of people who were like, Matt's got to eat crow. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm just saying, look, I'm just saying, it's not necessarily what people think it might be, because I feel like a lot of people, they are kind of grasping at straws just to find any excuse to be like, well, this is going to continue. And that's the thing, like, do you guys even really want the Snyder characters to continue if it's not going to be headed up by Zack Snyder? It's not going to be his direction and vision for these characters. It might be the same actors, and yeah, some of these are very good castings and they should keep them, but it's not going to be the same. It's just never going to be the same. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, would Zack Snyder come back to direct if they decide to do Justice League 2 and 3? Would Snyder come back to direct them? The answer is probably not. But then they would, would he would still be quote, credited as an executive producer, but would he ultimately end up, like having an oversight on who the director is and the direction of the story and things along those lines? We really don't know. And so there's definitely all that. But what cracks me up, though, about this is the fact that it's entirely possible that we could be getting more Batfleck. Because earlier this week, there was those shots that came out of the Bat Cycle of Batman chasing. And those are like really high quality shots. So I'm like, no, that was clearly from the studio. Now, I did hear from Mikey Sutton tonight. He DM'd me and he just said that Hamada is losing his grip. And that's all he said. That's all he said to me. Let me double check, because he wanted to come on tonight. Mikey Sutton wanted to come on tonight, and but because the movie got out to be so late, he just says, all he says here is that Hamada is losing his grip. I'll probably end up getting Mikey on this weekend sometime to talk about it, because I know he wants to. He's been asking to come on again. He had a lot of fun. I would say that if it's true that Hamada is losing his grip and maybe they are trying to find a way to make it work on HBO Max, then that would be very fascinating. And J.K. Simmons coming back as Jim Gordon, with his daughter being Barbara Gordon, now played by Leslie Grace, that does open up a very specific line of inquiry that goes back to a Grace Randolph scoop. Oh. And yeah. So Grace had said that the whole point of bringing Keaton in was that they were going to do Batman Beyond, but instead of it being Terry McGinnis and being that character, that it was going to be Batgirl Beyond, and it was going to focus on older Keaton Batman teaching younger Barbara Gordon the ropes.
The worst idea ever.
Yeah. So let's think of it like this. Obviously, when it comes to whatever Warner's is doing with the DCEU, they are using Justice League 2017 as the sequel. That is the basis that all this is based off of, right? Like The Flash is a sequel to 2017 Justice League. Aquaman and Aquaman 2 are sequels to 2017 Justice League. That is the reality of it. But the interesting thing is that if what she says is true, it kind of makes sense here. Because if the Flash is going to be coming in from the Snyderverse and he's going to be opening up the multiverse portal or finding a way to go in between the multiverse and opening it up for everyone to kind of get their way around, it's possible then that Batfleck will die, because I keep thinking that's going to happen. And Keaton's Batman comes to this Gotham, or vice versa. You know, she goes to that Gotham or something along those lines, and she gets taught the ropes over there. That could be the Batgirl Beyond thing that they're talking about.
I can't believe that DC got beat to the multiverse idea so fast by Marvel. I can't believe it. Like, I don't even think it's a great idea, and Marvel still beat them to it. It's like, holy shit. Like, the Flash isn't even close to being out, right?
No, they're not even done filming it yet.
What? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we just saw those pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even done filming it.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
I don't know.
What the fuck's going on?
I don't know. All I know is that it's like, that is where I put that on Twitter today. And a lot of people push back on me over it. And that makes a lot of sense. It does. It makes a lot of sense because in this particular situation, like I do think that they're not gonna continue it. But this is also a revelation that can't be ignored. And if that is kind of a way to, bring Batgirl into the world through Snyder's world, universe, whatever, and then merge it into whatever the new canon is, that's going to be fascinating to see. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know what's going on over there. Do you guys have 1 foot in, 1 foot out? What are you doing? You keep acting like the whole thing is dead, but then this comes in through the Hollywood Reporter. Like the Suicide Squad
They have no idea. Want to know why it sounds like they have no idea what they're doing? It's because they haven't for the longest time, and they still have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's true. And you know what? At the end of the day, why would you want Zack Snyder to subject himself to this mismanaged, terrible mess any longer? He deserves better. Netflix is giving him better. Just be happy with the fact that he has more fucking things to play with, more fucking things in his toolbox. That's how I look at it anyway. I don't think Zack Snyder should spend another fucking second at DC in his life.
Oh, no, I do agree with you on that one. He seems happier where he is. But at the same time, people will argue, but Zach already said yes, he would come back. Zach's also said yes to a lot of things. Like, hey, Zach, do you want to do a Star Wars movie? Oh, yeah, totally. Hey, Zach, you want to do an Akira remake? Oh, yeah, totally. Hey, Zach, you want to make a porno? Oh, yeah, totally. And that, by the way, that last one, all three of those are real, especially that last one. So he will do whatever comes along, and he generally just wants to make content. I get that. So I don't know what's going to happen with this particular story. I just think it's like, this is a very fascinating turn of events. And I've said this to you. I've said this on this show. I stand by this. If I am proven wrong, I will eat crow. The only thing that's going to suck is how many people are going to fucking dunk on me. That's going to suck. But I'll admit, I can admit when I'm wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. That's not an issue.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll get so desperate that they'll actually, realize that they had something pretty good going on, but I don't think they ever will. That's the sad thing. I don't think they will.
No, they generally, it's all crazy shit. But anyway, there's something else that popped up today. And not just the Scarlett Johansson thing, which I kind of wanted to wait for. RJ's on his way in. He should be here in a few. And then I want to talk about that. But first, have you ever seen the classic early 1990s movie Waterworld?
No, I don't think I've actually ever sat down and properly watched it. I've heard of the movie before.
It was considered one of the biggest flops of the 90s.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
A huge flop. So where are we at right now when it comes to nostalgia in the 90s now that we're creeping up on 30 years? Oh, that's right. Waterworld, the TV series.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
Took me a minute for that to sink in. Like, wait a minute, are you serious? Well,
This
okay,
isn't
what service is this going on?
this. We don't know yet. All I know
Oh.
is that is a Waterworld TV series in the works with director Dan Trachtenberg, who is doing the Predator movie Skull. He also did 10 Cloverfield Lane and the pilot episode of The Boys. And this is from producers John Davis and John Fox, who are also overseeing the new Predator movie. And they were talking about it the other day. So this is what he says here. The series is expected to follow the characters from the original 1995 movie. And though Davis didn't mention any specific actors, he acknowledged it would take place 20 years later. All those people 20 years later. But we're coming up on 30 years later. So, okay. I mean, de-aging technology is a thing, but Kevin Costner is not getting any younger. And he says here, we're not 100% sure on the approach to the show, but definitely we're in the building stages right now. Like, okay.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. There's nothing appealing to the setting, unique about the setting that hasn't been done a million times better in a number of other fucking franchises before. There's nothing to Waterworld that speaks out and says, "Oh wow, let's fucking make this into a series." You know what? I guarantee you that this is gonna go to the most desperate streaming service imaginable, like a streaming service that can't get anything else. It's probably gonna go on fucking Peacock.
It was funny you say that, because they say here that for now it's on Universal Television, and it's at Universal Television, and we're putting it together. Yes, but yes, we think it already has a home, signaling a Peacock deal given Universal Television's involvement.
Peacock? Are you
Now,
fucking serious?
Well, and the thing was, the movie was distributed back in the 90s by Universal Pictures. So, I mean, look here, like, I never thought that that Waterworld was a terrible movie. All right. Like, I never thought that it was a terrible movie. It definitely wasn't, Costner's best, obviously. But I always liked it when he tried something new. Like, I really liked The Postman. And I also like Waterworld because they're different, unique concepts.
I mean, look, I really like him a lot, but that movie was not. He couldn't hold that movie up even if you tried his fucking best. Like, there's nothing about that movie that was appealing. And like I keep trying to say, there's nothing about the setting that's unique or appealing. There's no reason to bring this to life or do it in a new way or carry on the name of something that has such a poor reputation. People just hear Waterworld and they're like, "Ugh, that movie."
Well,
why not give it a new name?
It says here that the original film grossed $264 million worldwide on a budget of $175 million. And it did apparently turn a profit thanks to a robust home video market and ancillary revenue stream. So that whole aspect of it is very fascinating. Max here says he called it on his Need Boot segment. Max does a segment on his show whenever he actually gets around to streaming something, which is literally you never really know. He'll send us links to come on a show. He'll be like, I'm streaming, and he'll drop a link, and that's it. He'll just do a StreamYard link, no title, no topic, no thumbnail, no time. No. And we're like, Max, what's going on? And then dead silence. So we never really know. It's kind of a Rochambeau with Max. It's a bit of a random situation.
Rochambeau.
Right. So Max Damas, whatever, dude. And then, but apparently Waterworld, it could, based upon where we find ourselves right now with nostalgia, could potentially actually have the ability to come back. Now, even the producer here says the only movie I went back recently that we made and rewatched, and I was surprised at how well it held up, is Waterworld. For many, many years, I didn't really want to see it because I thought the movie didn't work. It wasn't what the script was. It was not as good as the script. It had production problems. Then I went back and saw it again, and it's like, oh yeah, this movie ages great with time.
What? Oh my God!
Know.
Matt, only those dumb fucks at Peacock, and I'm sorry, but everyone at Peacock must be fucking stupid because they make the worst decisions. They greenlight the stupidest, most mundane, boring shit that you could possibly pick out of the litter. I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah, no, but look, I need to go back and watch it again. If it's on, I don't have Peacock, but I might be able to drum it up somewhere. And but I agree with Nacky Nack here. The movie that destroyed Costner's career. It set it back. That's 100% for certain.
Yeah, it didn't destroy his career, but it set it back.
Yeah. He went for, he didn't really do a lot of big, that and The Postman, because The Postman came out a couple years later. So it's, Geeks here says Peacock equal Quibi. No, I had Quibi. I don't have Peacock. So, haha, joke's on you there, buddy. I don't know what they're going to do with this, if anything's going to come from this. But Dan Trachtenberg directing this, as well as him doing the pilot for The Boys and 10 Cloverfield Lane, and, maybe The Skull is going to be good. I think this could be something that's going to be fascinating. But these are from the guys who produced it originally. And so you can tell that there's clearly like a bias there. Like, yeah, he says here, like, I went back and watched the movie. The only movie that I went back recently that we made and rewatched. It's like, okay, well, you're basically saying like you went down in member berries territory. You got drunk on member berries. I remember, you remember, I remember. Like, man, wow, that movie pretty good. We made it almost 30 years ago. Like, we should turn that into a television show.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, the movie definitively goddamn flopped. I've never heard a positive thing about it up until now from someone who has a clear bias.
Well, yeah, Zeno here says, is your co-host really trashing a movie he hasn't seen? I would recommend watching it. All right. I think it's for free. I think you can watch it free on YouTube. I really think you can watch it free on YouTube.
I'm very selective with where I give my time. If I don't hear a single good thing about a movie from anyone up until like it becomes like part of a conversation for it being rebooted, then I'm going to be pretty fucking skeptical about giving it my time. But
okay, RJ's here. RJ, have you seen Waterworld?
Yes, I have actually.
And what do you think of it?
Ago. It was a horrible movie, but it's a funny bad movie.
Okay, so real quick here, HBAR said $2 saying that Elmo said he's a guacamole.
What?
Thank you. I don't know what that means, but if Elmo wants to respond, he can respond as well, because he's aware. And then Command Unit with 15 shekels says Waterworld is a fun movie though. I rewatched it 4 times.
4 times.
4 times. Okay, cool. So I mean, look, and look, I'll be fair. Like Command Unit did bring up that Major Grom Plague Doctor, and that trailer did look like a lot of fun.
All right, so that's a non-paid endorsement of Waterworld.
That's a non-paid
in my life.
Well, he kind of paid, but he paid me to endorse.
Okay, well,
the
yeah, no, that's fine.
So there is that. But you know what I'll do? I will bring up. I'll tell you. I'll bring up the trailer. Okay, we'll watch the trailer real quick, and and you guys can you youngins out there can look at this and determine whether or not it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. I don't quite know.
The best thing about Waterworld was the stunt show at Universal Studios.
Well, and now that's gone, isn't it? That's gone now?
Yeah, I think it's gone, yeah.
Yeah, those bastards. Always bastards.
I think it might still be in Florida, though. I can't remember.
Yeah, there's no reason to go to Florida. All right, so this is the trailer for Waterworld, a Universal film. Kevin Costner. I love this here. 1995 HD. The trailer only goes up to 360p. Which is half high definition. So it should be HHD. You lying son of a bitch. But anyway, here we go.
The future. The polar ice caps have melted, and the Earth lies beneath a watery grave. Those who survived have adapted to a new world.
What did you see out there in your 15 lunars?
Such as?
An end? An end to all this water?
You're asking the wrong person.
You weren't there.
So what's the word? We trading or not?
And the human dream is the search for a mythical place called dry land.
It doesn't exist!
How can you be sure?
Because I sailed farther than most have dreamed. I've never seen it.
This place, this whole way of living, it's ending.
Straight line leading directly to dry land.
Dry land is not just our destination, but it is our destiny!
You had to stop parodying.
Universal Pictures presents a world unlike any you have ever seen. Kevin Costner, Dennis Hopper, Gene Triplehorn. Waterworld.
Motherfucking Waterworld.
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 God. Yeah, there's the part where Gene Triplehorn takes off her clothes. It's Kevin Costner. Please help me and this
It
little
just
girl.
looks like a fucking watered down Mad Max.
Well, that's kind
Mad
of
Max
yeah.
on water,
It is.
yeah.
It's Mad Max with water.
But not as interesting or cool.
No, it's like we're not looking. It's Mad Max Fury Road is all about trying to get water. This one's all about trying to get land. It's but I mean, look where we are currently looking at the issue of climate change, all that stuff of climate change. Clearly, I could see why Waterworld at this point
It's an interesting concept. It's
Yeah.
just that the movie was boring. It didn't really execute the concept as well.
I
as it
gotta
could've.
watch it again. Definitely, I need to check it out. Zeno here says Waterworld was fun. And John here says I saw the movie and it's original and that's extra points for the movie. That is true, even though it's Mad Max with water. But
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
not original. Whatever.
It's derivative, but it still kind of edges into that territory. HWAD here with $2 says it was that pic that he made me send you. Oh, right, the guacamole pic. Yeah, I got that. Thank you very much, man. All right. Oh, come on, work, damn you, freaking StreamYard. Let's see. Mad Max here says that trailer rocks. Mad Max and Waterworld. I'm just saying, like it could totally work. Dio here says no Immortan Joe. Well, I mean, you have Dennis Hopper, who could kind of be an Immortan Joe. But that is something that came out today that I really think is big news. Of course, everything today got shadowed by the biggest news of the day.
Oh yeah,
and that of course is really here all about the hold on, I get the right window. Hawkeye gets a premiere date. That was the big news of the day. Nothing else happened today.
oh yeah.
Well, it's funny. Do you know why they put the story out there?
They put the story out this morning, far before anything involving a lawsuit.
Exactly, but did you know what happened over on Reddit?
No.
Basically, massive spoilers for Shang-Chi leaked on Reddit. A screen, like the edit room. Somebody took like high quality screen grabs with the watermarks over it that revealed a major third act surprise for the movie. So the speculations that they dropped this Hawkeye release date in the first picture in that article to kind of distract from that leak.
Oh wow.
The leak's already gone. I saved the pictures, but the leak got taken down by Disney. So
I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to know what that leak is, to be honest with you.
yeah, so Marvel had a Shang-Chi leak, so they put out a Hawkeye story. They got overshadowed by a Scarlett Johansson court case.
Yeah, and then I love their response to that court. We'll talk about that next. But I did want to touch upon this because look, I'm excited for Hawkeye. I'm really excited for Hawkeye, and it's coming out on November 24th, and that is a Wednesday, and that would put its final episode on December 29th. Will be
Yes,
when
and the fourth episode will be coming out the same week as Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, and there's been the rumor that coming off of that episode, we'll get the Kingpin, or we'll get some connection to Spider-Man and potentially the Netflix shows, the Daredevil.
Right. The rumor was
characters.
episode 5, so it'd be like right after Spider-Man No Way Home, you'd see Charlie Cox's Daredevil, then next week you'd see Kingpin on Hawkeye. It was the rumor.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's that's going to be like a hell of a thing. But I'm glad it's finally coming. We got this first look here from Entertainment Weekly, giving us a good job. Hold on, let me open up oh fuck, I didn't save it. Let me open up in a new tab.
there you go. Look at that nice little watermark logo.
Yeah, there we go. I just
Yeah, I wonder what's interesting too. They said that this will be the next live action series after Loki and What If. This is next. So Miss Marvel probably got delayed to next year.
What?
Which-
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be out in like October.
That's what
or
they
something.
said, but it seems like they've confirmed that it won't be launching this year now. It'll be launching next year. Because again, if this is coming out in November and this is the next series according to Marvel, there's no time for anything else unless you put Miss Marvel in October against Book of Boba Fett.
That's
which
kind
I
of
think
a
they're gonna
big
do.
space open.
well,
isn't
Book of
it?
Boba Fett is in December, is what they're saying, coming out Christmas.
Right, and Hawkeye will be over by then.
Doesn't
So
that
there's
leave
no
kind
way.
of like a big space between What If and?
Well, no, they're gonna end up doing like an episode of unless they put Book of Boba Fett on Fridays, which I think they will. I mean, clearly either Book of Boba Fett is gonna come out in October to meet like when Mando dropped. What was it? It was October of last year is when Mando dropped.
I can't believe it's already
Yeah,
been a
season
year.
2.
I remember
it's
that.
crazy.
I remember that one, just like it was fucking yesterday.
I know it's been this whole year has gone by. Like even my friend tonight, we're like, I haven't seen him in a year. You know, my friend today hung out with tonight, and we went and saw Evil Dead in the Drive-In a year ago, and we're like, God, it's been a whole fucking year, dude. Like shit, you know, it just flies by the older you get. But I don't know. I'm really excited for Hawkeye. I think it's going to be fun. I know they're pulling a bit. Like, this is clearly based on the Fraction run, but the way that
My Life as a Weapon, great comic.
but then again, there was that little bit where Jeremy Renner described Kate Bishop as a fangirl, and that's like pulling from another run. And so I saw some controversy surrounding that today.
Well, no, Kate Bishop has always been a fan of Hawkeye. There was that dichotomy between the two again, where she is a fan of Hawkeye and some other stuff. It goes back to the roots of the character. I mean, again, this is the introduction of Kate Bishop. When they did the Matt Fraction run, the character was already established, right? So they didn't have to explain her origin story or anything. So it's going to be a combination of that run with the origin story of Kate Bishop. So
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, either way, I'm looking forward to it. I
just want to see Lucky the pizza dog. Where's Lucky the pizza dog?
Well,
Yeah,
he was in some of the photos.
Yeah, Hawkeye has a dog that he adopts from the streets that helps him fight the mob, and he loves pizza, so they call him Lucky the pizza dog.
I like that. People are gonna love that.
A lot. Disney's already like, all right, we're getting some merch.
Yeah,
Getting some merch. It's gonna be some merch.
You could tell that they knew that alligator Loki was going to be something they're going to sell merch. Yeah.
I love the target behind Kate Bishop though. It's like it's got the purple and white kind of colors to match the aesthetic. Here's a question.
I did see Blockatil here say tap booty.
Oh
Wait, like you mean like a more accurate, like comic accurate costume? Is that
like Hawkeye is like comics costume.
I wouldn't put it off. Like they might do what they did with like Wanda. I don't know. I feel like he might die in this series. If I'm being honest with you.
I think he's gonna drop the mantle of Hawkeye and become Ronin. And obviously, look,
You think he'll go back to that? Like that was the dark
did you
part of his life.
well, I mean, did you happen to see Black Widow?
Not yet.
Okay, so you got to get to the ending of Black Widow because the ending of Black Widow ties into Hawkeye.
Okay.
And I don't want to say what it is because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. It's a good scene though, and I'm sure RJ will agree.
Yes, and it basically took my hype for Hawkeye, which is already at like an 8 or a 9, and took it to like an 11.
Yeah, so. No, it did. I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's gonna. I think Miss Marvel. You know what? Let that come out after Spider-Man. I think that's going to be okay.
Yes, I think it makes sense to delay to next year too because it'll come out closer to the Marvels. Because there's a rumor now that Brie Larson's going to pop up in a couple episodes.
Oh, and I'm sure that Tiana Paris is already gonna pop in. I know they're already filming or getting ready to film the Marvels right now because Tiana Paris is in the UK, and I think Brie Larson probably is as well. So obviously, you know, they want to release them closer together. I think they're going to want to use Miss Marvel as a massive like lead in to the Marvels. So it just makes the most amount of sense. I'm very cool with that. But I do want to quickly get to a super chat because you guys completely just bombed the stream with a lot of them. Thank you guys very much. Daniel Scott here, $10 says, Waterworld was a bad movie with a really cool premise. The original Ocean's 11 with Frank Sinatra is a pretty bad movie, but the premise was cool enough to where they were able to make a good movie. Yeah, I remember seeing the original Ocean's 11 with Frank Sinatra and in the Rat Pack from back in the day. And you're right, it wasn't that good of a movie. It had a great casting, but it just it wasn't as cool as Soderbergh's Ocean 11 from 2001, which by the way turns 20 this year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Think about.
So weird that Ocean's 11 turns 20. But it's entirely possible that going to television and having a streaming show budget, Waterworld could do okay, and they're going to be able to make it a lot cheaper than they made the movie for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's like I'll tell you guys this, like I'll check it out if it gives us more like Tina Majorino. Sure, she hasn't had much of a career. You know, I think she went on to go do Veronica Mars, and she was in Napoleon Dynamite a couple years down after that, but she hasn't done that much after. So you know what? Bring Tina Majorino back. What's going on with those characters on land 20 years later? How much have they fucked up that world? You know, let's go and find out more because they have to go back to the water. That's what Waterworld, the TV show, or Waterworld 2 deep dive.
Oh.
Or Waterworld 2, Don't Breathe.
Jesus Christ, man.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Waterworld 2, Under Pressure.
Waterworld 2, Underwater.
What? That's on the nose.
I know it is. That's why it's so terrible. Waterworld 2, Kevin Costner needs
All right,
a pay
I need a
raise.
I need.
I killed it. Command unit here with 15 super shekels. Thank you. Says Waterworld is a Mad Max, but with a Batman that actually has Aquaman powers. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, he has gills, and that is kind of a weird thing that he has gills.
Oh right, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
and that wasn't even anything in the trailer. It was like about that he had gills. It was like, you know.
Yeah,
like,
and he was like ostracized by everyone because they thought he was like a mutant freak because he was evolving or whatever.
Yeah, could you imagine though? Like, he ends up fighting. If he's like Batman, right? What if he fought like a Waterworld version of Superman, and then Superman, like, they get into it, and Superman, the roles flip, and it just goes, "Do you breathe?"
Oh God.
Underwater. You know, I don't know. Okay. That joke is terrible. I don't want to. Anyway, thank you very much for the command unit here. The fourth for another $5 says Waterworld looks better than Dune. I'm going to watch it this weekend. Are you? I mean, like, are we talking 86's Lynch's movie? Yeah, Waterworld is better than that. Like the upcoming movie, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think you're really reaching on that one. But report back, Forth. How about that? Report back and let me know what you think. And then also another 15 shekels here from Command Unit. Thank you. Says can't wait for the Jar Jar series. I have a feeling that Jar Jar might pop up in the Obi-Wan show. I just have this weird feeling. Yeah,
it's not impossible.
They're going to find a way to bring Jar Jar in because Disney's not going to turn down. Bringing back, like, because they already put Ahmed Best in that kid show. There was that Force, whatever, that kid show that was on the Star Wars YouTube channel. Did you see that at all?
No, I did not watch that. No,
yeah, it's pretty. I checked that. It was, it's like whatever. It's a game show for kids. It's not for me. But Ahmed Best plays a Jedi, and he's like the host of the show. I'm like, cool. Put on the wig. Put on the mask. Do it. Like, but they could do it. And at this point now, there's been this massive embrace of Jar Jar Binks. And a lot of people out there really like Jar Jar Binks. So it is possible that as a result of all that, he could end up getting, he could get brought back.
All right.
People, Annie, how would you feel if Jar Jar Binks came back?
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. I rushed back because I have a strong opinion on this. They're not gonna put fucking Jar Jar Binks in that show. Are you nuts? They're gonna get as far away from Jar Jar Binks as they can.
Obi, it's me, a Jar Jar.
Like you said, they brought back Ahmed Best, but as a different character, right?
No, like I think they should bring back Ahmed Best as Jar Jar. I think.
No, they're gonna give him another chance with Star Wars, but dude, they're not gonna bring back Jar Jar Binks.
They will accept him as Jar Jar. They will not accept him as anyone else. They will accept him as Jar Jar. They bring him back as Jar Jar. We're talking a Jar Jar Renaissance here, a Jar Renaissance, okay? A Jar Jar Renaissance.
No. That's
going to happen. The Gungans shall rise again, okay? Don't be Umbad. Don't be Umbad. Don't be Umbad.
What the fuck?
It's been a very long day for me.
I can tell.
It's been a very long day. So, and then real quick here, HBar's here, $2, man. Thank you. It says people are overblowing this lawsuit. I mean, maybe, sure. We'll talk about the lawsuit here. I just want to get to there.
Yeah, I've got some very strong opinions on the lawsuit. So
we'll get to that here in a second. McLeod here with 5 Canadian. Thank you. Says I'm still waiting for the Last Starfighter sequel, and I'm a millennial. Oh man, you'll be waiting for a long time for the Last Starfighter sequel, but. That would be something. I mean, I could see a remake of The Last Starfighter. I would be okay with the remake of The Last Starfighter, predominantly because The Last Starfighter is a tough movie to watch the older you get. It's one of those ones that, like, even at the time, like the animation, the effects were kind of like, not the best. And they didn't really age well, in my opinion. But I think the story is good and could probably end up doing well. But then again, they would just turn it into something like Ready Player One.
Yeah, probably.
And what game would he play? Would it be like Halo or something that's a Halo knockoff?
Probably.
Yeah.
Microsoft would sponsor the movie and play Halo.
How much you want to bet Epic would do it? It's going to be he's a Fortnite player. You know? He's all like, Victory Royale. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to get down. That song. Have you heard that song?
Yes.
Sadly. Have you heard that one, Annie? It's terrible.
It's a parody of another song. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hold on. It's called Chug Jug with You.
Chug Jug with You.
Hold on. We'll play the first little bit of it for people who want to. This will get into your brain and it will fucking hurt. But I'm doing this because I love you, and I'm doing
Watch
this.
This guy's copyright strike.
It's fine. A parody of American Boy.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, it's a parody. I don't know what American Boy is, but we'll just listen to the first 30 seconds.
Why does it say Fortnite in the title?
Oh, you about to get down. You about to get down, Annie. This is going to be a battle cry in like a Fortnite movie. Anyway, get ready. Yeah.
This is terrible.
It is terrible. You have no idea. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Yeah.
We got a #1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down. 10 kills on the board right now.
Just wiped out Tomato Town.
My friend just gone down. I revived him. Now we're heading southbound.
All right, Matt, that's enough.
In the Pleasant Park streets. Look at the map. Go to the mark sheet. Take me to your Xbox to play Fortnite today.
It's not funny.
It's so funny.
It's not funny.
It's so funny.
That's not funny. That's cringe.
Oh,
That's
it's so cringe. But I could see that being like the last Starfighter, and that's like they open on a competitive Fortnite event. You know, it's every licensed skin that Epic has, and you know,
pretty much everything.
It's everything. It's
Bloodsport's
Terminator.
Coming to Fortnite next week.
What is coming to Fortnite?
Bloodsport from Suicide Squad.
Okay. Yeah. Bloodsport versus Thanos versus Predator versus a giant rainbow dildo. Who knows? Anything can happen in Fortnite because Epic likes
Saggy
money.
Did write and perform this, Adam. Yes. Saggy Melons was the creator of that song.
Oh my god. No.
But I could see this being the impetus for, like, you know, whoever gets a victory royale, you know, they're the ones who are going to save the galaxy. From who? From the aliens. Well, what aliens are they? Are they bad aliens? They're terrible aliens. That's why
really
this child...
funny. That's really, really funny you say that, because in the new season of Fortnite, aliens are all over the map. Like, you fight aliens.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, aliens are invaded.
Like, are they bots or are they other players?
Bots. They're NPCs that you fight. They have UFOs. You can drive. Everything.
They're NPCs.
So you might be onto something.
There's going to be a Fortnite movie. It's too popular to not be a thing.
Yeah, there's going to be a Fortnite movie like 5 years after it's relevant.
It'll
be
directed by the Russo brothers, because they directed an animated short for Epic like a season ago.
What? You think it's going to be directed by the fucking Russos?
They love Fortnite, dude. That's why Thanos got into the game. They were fans of it. They worked it out to deal with Marvel.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't. I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. I don't want to acknowledge the truth that actually might happen. That's worrying.
This is hysterical, and I love it. And let's get in. Let's move on, because obviously, I
don't want a Fortnite movie. Fuck.
I want to. But they're doing. But they are doing a PUBG animated series.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Yeah, the Adi Shankar, who produced the Castlevania series for Netflix.
Oh well, I like that show.
And then he's also doing. So he's also now working on a PUBG animated series.
I'd rather him finish the goddamn Devil May Cry series. Screw PUBG.
Well, he's working on a lot of different things right now. He's doing Devil May Cry. He's doing Captain Laserhawk for Ubisoft.
PUBG has no story though.
Don't want to spread yourself too thin on these.
PUBG has a setting, and you can easily put a story in a setting. All right. Here, I'll do a PUBG pitch. Okay.
Have you seen Castlevania yet, Matt?
I haven't seen Castlevania yet. I know I'm missing out. I know I haven't seen Beastars either. So Dark Beast, stop asking. But I'm gonna watch Jungle Book I'm gonna watch Jungle Cruise in the morning.
Anyway, what's your pitch?
My pitch. Okay. So what you have here, right? You have so we're talking a PUBG, right? You have an abandoned island, one that's far off in Russia or Siberia or someplace with a nuclear reactor. It doesn't really fucking matter. It's a decommissioned zone. And you bring in people and they fight, and that's it. That's all I got. That's on top of my head. That's all I
That's
got right
all?
now. That's all I've got. I don't know. There's a prize at the end. 100 people enter.
Oh
one
my
person
God,
lives.
Matt.
Have you ever seen Battle Royale's got a better story? Like, just take Battle Royale and like make everyone in PUBG children, because everyone who plays PUBG generally is a child, and then they act like it, given how many times I get called the N-word when I play that game.
That's
and
just
then,
a reality TV show with
It's
murder.
really funny. People make fun of Fortnite, but Fortnite actually does have an ongoing storyline that they actually write. They connected it to Marvel Comics. It's canonical to the Marvel universe, and it's canonical to Batman.
It's not
comics as
canonical.
well.
I don't
Marvel
adhere
was
to that canon.
promoting it as canon.
I don't respect that canon. That's
It's not
hashtag not
canon.
hashtag not my
An
canon.
ongoing storyline that they have.
What
Involves
the-
aliens. There's rumors that The Rock is going to be in the next season.
God, you
No,
know they're gonna
the
put
main
Black
character.
Adam in it. Yeah, you know they're
No.
gonna put an iteration of every. There's gonna be a fucking Scorpion King and Tooth Fairy skin. You know, and they're like, you know, that's coming. They're gonna be like,
Yeah, they're gonna
featuring-
reveal it's part of the fucking serververse too. They're
No,
gonna be
like there's a rumor that he's playing a character that's like part of like an intergalactic like Justice League that's like cosmic beings. Like he's one of the members of it
all right,
or something.
no, there's not.
So what you're telling me is I need to get into deep Fortnite lore?
There actually are channels dedicated to the Fortnite lore.
Because I mean, like, you know, when I was talking about, we were talking about Ghostbusters the other day. I was explaining to Annie a lot of deep Ghostbusters lore.
and that was interesting because Ghostbusters is cool, but this is
Yeah,
much to talk about Fortnite.
that kind of preaches it. Where if you're able to actually create something with lore, people can you know, hold on. Here's it. If you guys are listening to this right now in the chat, and I appreciate that there's 77 of you guys here. Smash the like, but also leave a comment. Let me know, like, what lore do you guys like? What's your favorite lore from a series? Like, what would be cool for us to get into that we're not into, you know? And because, like, I'll say this, as much as I don't play Fortnite, that's kind of interesting. Like an official, you know, canonization of this series. And that's kind of fascinating to me. So I might need to go and dive into some of these lore, these type of scenarios. But let's, there's actually, there's a fair amount of super chats to get to. Command Unit. I've been waiting on this one, man. I had to get the other ones first. 150 super shekels. My goodness, you are so generous. Thank you. Says, I want to see what they're going to do with Jar Jar because according to the Empire's End books, he is still alive and a clown on Naboo with half a burnt orphan kid as a student who lost his parents during the fall of the Empire. That would be, so what you're saying. So are you
from the books? Yeah,
that is from the books. I could totally see. Okay. What if we did? This could sound so bad.
Oh my
But
god!
what if we made an adaptation of the day the clown died, which is the one Jerry Lee Lewis movie we will not ever see. It's about a clown that leads children to the gas chambers at Auschwitz. But what we do is, here's a setting. Here's the pitch. The setting is that it's Jar Jar as the clown, and the children are in Empire occupied Naboo, and they're now in the extermination phase due to uprisings.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a little bit too controversial, Matt.
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
I was gonna say do Logan, but it's Jar Jar.
Even better. I just thought of like the clown.
All right,
Not the day the clown cried. Hell no.
Yeah, the day the clown.
can we go back to talking about Fortnite? Like, what the fuck?
Sorry, I like that was the first terrible joke that came to mind, and I instantly regret like making it.
Jar Jar Binks and Auschwitz. I never thought I'd hear that. in my
I'm
entire
just
life.
saying, because we're in this combined, thing now.
Serververse, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. It's you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know I'm going to hell, guys. I know I'm going to hell.
You are.
I'm so going to. Didn't I make like an I think I made like an Anne Frank diary joke the other day. It's just like when it's late and I'm tired, I literally will just say the first thing that comes to mind, and that is never a good sign. The last sane one here is like, Matt, what the fuck, dude? I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
I know, because
What a way to
none of
put
that.
it.
Because here's the thing. It's so absurd. None of that is even remotely funny. Like the reality of that world, and nothing about that is entertaining. But given how creatively bankrupt Hollywood is, I mean, like, would you put it past anyone in Hollywood at this point that would be like, okay, we need to be culturally significant, but also find a way to tell history through the lens of pop culture and science fiction, which generally does find a way to do that. And I'm just waiting for the point when someone's like, you know what's an amazing untapped territory? World War II. Like, what if we took World War II and we just put this like sci-fi spin on World War II, and that's how we tell about the atrocities and really teach kids about that?
Yeah, like, here's the thing. You've already seen, like, there's a bunch of fucking crackpot, terrible fucking documentaries on, like, on the History Channel and a bunch of other fucking networks about the Nazis. Like, especially from, like, the early 2000s and shit, there's, like, a lot of really, like, weirdly framed, I should say, documentaries where it's just like, yeah, the Nazis, they had a lot of cool weaponry, and they were basically, like, occultists who wanted a bunch of, ancient artifacts, when that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah,
they weren't looking for all these, because I feel like a lot of people, they just saw Indiana Jones movies and they were like, yeah, Nazis wanted the fucking the Ark and all that shit. It's like, no, they didn't. They weren't looking for all those magical artifacts. They weren't.
No, they were. I mean, well, I did cover a story about the Nazi Holy Grail.
Yeah, you did. There was a few cases of things like that, but a lot of people think it was like specifically fucking Hitler.
Oh no, yeah, no. That was all Himmler. That was all Heinrich Himmler and the Third Reich. That guy was the occult dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, for anyone listening, I'm just joking around. Obviously, I don't mean any of this. It's just the first stupid thing that comes to my mind. That's all. So it is, that's all it is. Take nothing I say with any seriousness, because clearly I'm just an idiot. So let's move on. Shiny here, $5 man. Thank you. Says, I wouldn't mind a Jar Jar and Watto team up.
What?
Sure, why not?
I think he's trying to bait me into doing a Watto impersonation.
Annie,
Jar Jar, you come to see me, what you bring? Oh, Mr. Jar Jar brings Mr. Bombad. No, I don't know what you're saying, Jar Jar. I need the credits.
I really hate impressions of both those characters because people always say Annie. And that makes me uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable.
Watto. That's like, I don't fucking know anymore. I should not do the stream. Anyway, H Parts here with $5 says, RJ, did Saki get her Snickers yet after what happened earlier?
Snickers.
Oh God, yeah.
I
hope she did. I did a stream talking about the Scarlett Johansson case, and Saggy popped off at my chat, so that was very entertaining to watch. He turned into the She-Hulk, basically.
Whoa.
Wait, why?
She was arguing with Zeno and Saggy. They I don't know. Those two are funny together. They like to argue. And
okay, it's fun. Yeah, it is fun to argue. Okay. And then oh wow, holy shit. Okay, so
but she did rage quit my stream, which is pretty funny.
Because Benson sent me he did a sizzle reel for the last Starfighter. What is this, like, sequel? We'll have to check this out a little bit later because it's already like, I might have to. Oh, that's interesting. Gary, well, he has me blocked on Twitter, so thank you for telling me that. I don't know why I'm blocked by a writer for Star. Oh, yeah, I probably know why. Why I'm blocked by some Star Wars people. But we'll definitely check that one out. All right, I'm just trying to play catch up here with everything. Check your Instagram. I got it, man. Thank you very much. I'll probably play it at the very end. And then everyone's all bitching about the song. That's very good. The song was terrible. All right. And then McLeod here with another $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, the Star League would probably incorporate VR/Oculus as a way to recruit more human starfighters like they did with the old arcade games in the 80s. Well, there's actually Ernie Klein who wrote Ready Player One. His follow-up book was called Armada, and that's essentially The Last Starfighter, and they also do that. That is how they recruit people, by having them play. It's an online game, but they're learning how to like actually use these these starfighters essentially. And yeah. So that did get optioned as a movie, but there's been no word on that. But expect that to come out definitely. So, all right. Fourth here says LeBron James is coming to Fortnite.
Oh, he already is. He was already a skin when Space Jam 2 came out.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't play Fortnite, so I have literally
they insist on calling him King James. I don't like that. That's cringe.
Ick. All right. Daniel Scott, another $5, man. Thank you, Daniel. Says, from my understanding, all these Disney Plus shows are leading into Secret Invasion. When is that coming out? Who's all going to be in that cast? We don't know. Anyone really, like outside of Emilia Clarke, has been the only one who's
Olivia
confirmed.
Coleman.
Olivia Coleman.
Bensley, King of Deer.
Wait, which Kingsley? Ben Kingsley?
No, Kingsley Ben-Adir, the actor who played Malcolm X in what was that movie called? The Regina King movie that was on Amazon Prime. One Night in Miami.
One Night in Miami. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's playing
cool.
the villain.
Oh, cool. And then probably also potentially Kang might make an appearance as well at this point.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't think that the Disney Plus shows are leading into it. It's just going to be its own separate Disney Plus thing that's probably going to lead into Captain Marvel 2, the Marvels. Maybe, I don't know.
No. You're telling me that Loki with that ending is not going to lead into Secret Invasion?
It's about the scrolls, not time travel and Kang.
Yeah, but that's all. Come on, man.
Nah, I don't see it.
on.
I think Secret Invasion is going to be its own thing.
Maybe
That's going to be
It's going to play into the Marvels.
It's going to be the ground level event for like the Earth stuff. Like that's not going to the Loki thing is more so the Doctor Strange level thing in the next Avengers movie.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, I think it's all going to be tied together. To be honest with you, I think Feige is going to push it hardcore to see what he can get away with. But that is my take on it. But either way, I don't think you're wrong. I'm just saying I think they're going to find a way to tie it into the larger MCU.
They certainly could. I'm just saying, as of right now, I'm not anticipating it to connect to anything else. I mean, from what I've heard, they want Secret Invasion to be like an Avengers level show on the Disney Plus. Like that's like a big show that they want to push really heavily.
Okay.
So.
Well, and they are, and I think with the success of the shows we have so far, they're probably going to I think they're also going to space out some of the shows a little bit more. Because they've had in the first half of the year, we're already 3 shows in. There's still 2 more shows to go this year. Never mind.
Because we basically have 2 years of
we're playing catch up. Yeah. And I'm very happy. I want to go back in and rewatch all those shows, especially Loki. My God. All right, Benson here, another £2. Thank you. Says Russo's are working on Battle of the Planets at Netflix. What's that one?
I think it's in a movie, isn't it?
Wouldn't surprise me. Like I said last night, Netflix is king. People didn't like that. People didn't agree with me. But Netflix has the money, and they're the one paying it out right now.
Yeah, I just think sometimes they just have too much of a pump and dump quality of their content.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they realize that. I'm hoping I think they're starting to realize that a little bit, because they were talking about putting out films and to keep them in the zeitgeist, and that generally means keeping them in the conversation longer. So it's like they want more things to be like Stranger Things. They need to find a new way to distribute it. And it's like I remember when they had floated the idea of putting in commercials for other Netflix originals, like HBO does. And I talked about it in a video, and people were like freaking out over it. Like, I'll cancel my Netflix if they put in a commercial. I'm like, it's 10 seconds. I don't even care. I'm going to get rid of my Netflix. I'm like, all right. Go jerk off in a corner and feel bad for yourself, whatever. And shit. Like, it's just people getting mad over the dumbest stuff, in my opinion. But Netflix does absolutely need to change. All right. And I'm just trying to make sure I want to be caught up on everything. I think I am caught up on everything. Now, okay. Lawsuit. We're going to talk about the lawsuit. We're going to get into the lawsuit. We're doing the lawsuit, you guys. We're doing the lawsuit. The lawsuit's coming up right. We're doing it live. I know it's my excellent, awesome thumbnail, which I literally built within like 2 minutes of like having to run out the door to drive up to the movie tonight. But
yeah, you got the red eyes.
Of course I got the red eyes. I got the fire eyes on Mickey, and a little bit of that ScarJo cleavage, because I figured that's going to attract people.
Of course.
Okay. Shifty Gizm does say here that Battle of the Planets is that 70s anime of superheroes that wear those different colored bird suits. Really?
Bird suits.
I don't know what that is.
But is it a live action movie or an animated series that they're doing? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Anyway, the big news of the day, the big crazy news of the day is in fact that Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for breach of contract over Black Widow release. And a lot of people do not understand what the hell this means. And there's been a lot of hot takes that I've seen talking about this.
Yes, I think it's been a very hot subject to discuss. I will say my position on this has flipped a lot since more's come out, and I think this is going to have bigger ramifications on Hollywood as a whole than people realize.
Well, at least for this year. Because
I think it's going to be long-term ramifications.
Well, maybe let's find out more. Disney's decision to release Black Widow on Disney Plus at the same time it hit theaters has sparked a legal battle with Scarlett Johansson. In a lawsuit filed Thursday in Los Angeles Superior Court, attorneys for Johansson allege that the star's contract was breached when the studio opted to not debut the film exclusively in theaters, a move they claimed depressed ticket sales for the Avengers spinoff. Much of Johansson's compensation was tied to box office performance of Black Widow. If it hit a certain benchmark, bonuses would kick in. And that is not uncommon, by the way.
No, that's a very common thing for actors to sign.
Yeah, especially Robert Downey Jr. did a lot of that with other films in the MCU. I mean, there's a reason why he made a lot of money because he knew what to expect. But this is something that, again, Disney was kind of backed into a corner with it. Just because of the pandemic, they had to release it. I mean, and even now, if I heard this correctly, the Disney premiere for Black Widow on the Premiere Plus on Disney Plus is going to be now open to everybody on in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
So,
I think in middle of August, end of August.
I've heard the pandemic thing brought up a lot, and I understand that obviously, changes the situation, but I don't understand why they didn't just renegotiate the contract if that was the case. Why didn't they just come to a new agreement?
My take on it is this, and it's the same reason why Jason Kilar didn't do the same thing over at HBO Max. It is easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
But they did spend $200 though.
But this is clearly bad PR, right? Because this doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look good for Disney at all.
Well,
it really doesn't.
Though, is that even though HBO Max pissed off a lot of people, they spent $200 million to settle things with their talent.
They did, and Disney's gonna have to do the same.
Well, and that's the thing. The question is, why didn't they do that ahead of time? Because apparently, according to Scarlett's representation, they tried to reach out to renegotiate last year, and Disney didn't call them back.
They are probably waiting to see how it would do. Because if the movie made enough money, they wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, that's not how an agreement's supposed to work.
No, right? It's not how I completely agree with you. I think Disney is entirely in the wrong here. But here's the thing, though. It says here, shortly after its debut, the National Association of Theater Owners asserted that the simultaneous release of Black Widow in theaters and on streaming cost Disney money in revenue per viewer over the life of the film, but the suit does note that Disney's stock rose after the company disclosed the rental figures. That was $60 million.
Yeah, first time they were made it public too, how well a film did.
You know where my mind went when I first heard this story? It's I don't understand why they would take something that was supposed to be this character's swan song, something that was supposed to be an event that people were, supposed to celebrate, and just end it in a way where they just treat this actor completely like shit. The reason why I think that they feel like they can do this is because they don't need her anymore. They think they don't need her anymore, at least. And with the fucking multiverse that they've introduced, they don't need these actors more than ever. They can recast and replace people easier than ever. Sure, it'll require some work, some lead in, but now they actually have that out. And I think that's part of the reason why they just don't give a shit. It's your character's dead. We don't need you anymore. We can replace you if we want to. I'm sure they probably already have in some way. I haven't seen the movie, but I'm sure at some way they're going to find a way. And that's the thing. She's disposable to them, so they just don't care. They don't care about treating their actors with respect once they're disposable, and that's really sad because think about how many of the actors in the MCU love this role that they've been given.
Yeah,
you can tell a lot of these actors really love the roles, and I don't want to see them treated like this. Imagine if RDJ got treated like this. Imagine if Chris Evans got treated like this. Can you imagine the outrage?
I don't think that they would. I don't think they would have done this to RDJ or Chris Evans. I agree.
And that's the thing, she's been around as long. I think that she's, as important as the rest of the OG Avengers cast.
Sure.
I think they're all important, and I think they all deserve the same level of respect because they were all important. She's been around as early as fucking Iron Man 2. So, I don't know. I'm outraged because she deserves respect. She deserves to be, actually given a fair negotiation. And for them to just completely go silent on her in this time of all, a movie that's supposed to be what her character has deserved for a long ass time. It's shameful.
Well, yeah. Well, they were. Well, the thing is, like I said, I think they were banking on it doing well. The initial estimates were for Black Widow were between $80 and $125 million. And then I saw another report that came out that said that Black Widow was looking at potentially a $145 million domestic opening weekend. And it ended, it kind of did that if you add the theatrical and Disney Plus numbers together. But it hit 80 million theatrical, which is where she gets her bonus from. She doesn't get a bonus from the premiere access, and that is a problem. The other side of that too is, while the movie did perform very well during the week, there was that massive like 67 or 73% drop off somewhere in there that a lot of people were reporting on, saying that Black Widow was in fact tanking at the box office and it was all this shit. I'm like, look, man, the movie had about the drop off from week 1 to week 2 was relatively expected. However, what Disney didn't do is they didn't reveal the Disney premiere numbers for the following week. You know what I mean? So
right,
yeah, you know,
here's the funny thing. I don't agree with Scott Mendelson very often. I think he's kind of a moron in a lot of regards, but he did make an interesting assumption the weekend that those Disney Plus numbers got released, where it seemed like, where he said, I believe, something to the effect of, they wouldn't have announced this until much later had the box office been up to their expectations. Because when you combine both the numbers, it makes a juicier headline that's more positive than it actually is.
Well, it says here that Johansson's legal salvo comes as new distribution paradigm. Yeah, they talk about all this stuff. I mean, you know, did they have the Disney update here?
No, they made a
oh no, not on this article. Even though Disney did update, and they basically were like, Disney. Here we go. Disney fires back. There we go. Disney fires back at Scarlett Johansson, calls Black Widow lawsuit sad and distressing. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for the House of Mouse, not one bit.
No,
I
rarely do.
I rarely do on that one. They're saying here that there's no merit to the filing whatsoever. Disney said in an unusually fiery statement, the lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Didn't Disney lay off thousands of employees at their parks? Just saying.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. They did. And the amount of money that Disney Plus pulls in every single month is very high.
Yeah, you know what? I'm tired of this. Like, when it comes to like these massive corporations, like smaller companies or mid-sized companies, I get it. The pandemic's a real thing that you have to deal with, and even the big-ass companies, yeah, it's going to impact them on some level, but not to the extent that they make it out. It's like you have the money to deal with a lot of these issues. You have the money to deal with a lot of the issues that the world has in general, and you just don't fucking do it. So don't act like, oh, poor us. Like, you know, we couldn't have taken the time to negotiate with one of our actors. Like, yeah, you could have. You could have totally fucking done this the right way. But just like Matt said, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to actually do it right. So.
And I think if it would have revitalized the box office, which is what I think a lot of people were thinking. You know, I think a lot of people thought that the Marvel loyalty based upon WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki.
That's asking for so much, though.
It is asking, but it is, yes, you're right. It is asking. It is absolutely asking for a lot there. And I think it's entirely possible that had it actually been closer to Hawkeye, maybe because of the connection between the two, then maybe that could have potentially done better for Black Widow. And the thing is, I liked Black Widow. I thought it was a fine movie. I thought it was a good entry into the MCU. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it well enough. And I want to buy it on home video when it comes out because it's going to add to my collection.
Right.
But the thing is, like, yeah, she thought she was going to get $50 million. And the thing is, so here's the thing to consider on this one. She's clearly ticked off, but her agents are the ones who negotiate the contract. So her agent would also be the one who's not getting their percentage of that fucking $50 million. So her agents are, and other people who were going to get their percentage of it as well, because that shit does get spread around to a number of different people.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously, like, this is something that it's like, no, we had a contract.
Well, the other thing is too, when you're a major star like this and you go after Disney, who's probably the biggest studio in the world right now, and they have the biggest streaming service outside of Netflix, you know, that's pretty ballsy, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Imagine being an actor, the main actor in this film, and the first way that you figure out that your film is going to be on an entirely different platform than you originally imagined is you find it out in a tweet that some fucking company makes, just like the rest of us. That's absolute fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Doesn't that really put in perspective just how crazy it is? Because I guarantee you that's how she figured it out. She saw some headline, just like you or me, and she was like, oh, it's going to be a premiering on Disney Plus? That wasn't part of my contract.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of, again, like, and I agree. There was I talked about Warner Brothers earlier, and there was the point made that they paid out the money and that they smoothed it over and that they did what they had to do, and it is costing them, definitely costing them. Disney probably, I mean, Disney. Remember last year when it was between Tenet and Mulan, Disney waited for Warner's to have no choice but to put Tenet in theaters.
Yeah, they didn't want to be the first one to
Yeah,
jump
the
off
canary in the
cliff.
coal mine.
Yeah.
And then they put it on Premier Access, and they never said how well it did. And then the
And it
movie
apparently didn't do very well.
the movie didn't. I saw some of the clips floating around Twitter. It looked terrible.
Oh,
So,
it was not good. It was not good.
I still haven't watched it. It's on Disney Plus right now. I have no desire. But hold on. Benson here with £5 says a movie star being open and honest about their lawsuit, so we know the facts and can understand their position. Lessons Ray Fisher can learn. Ooh,
That's a whole rabbit hole.
ooh, that's a bit of a low blow there, sir. I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying. That's definitely a bit of a low blow. Oof. That's
Maybe this is a hot take, but I do think, I mean, say what you will about Grace Randolph, but I thought she made a really interesting video today breaking this down to where this could affect streaming services going forward for these studios, because again, depending on what way this lawsuit goes, it's going to have major ramifications if it goes all the way to court. Because considering Disney's statement, I don't know if they're going to settle it out of court. I still think there's a high likelihood they will. I don't know if Scarlett Johansson's going to continue working with Disney and do that Tower of Terror movie. I don't know what her career looks like going forward. Plus, too, it's like these streaming services, they were meant to be an endless money hole, right, for these studios. But they have to start doing more of these deals that to like pay the talent royalties and all that. Suddenly, it just becomes another TV channel, right?
Yeah.
And the value of these streaming services is going to take a nosedive, and then it's ultimately just going to like torpedo itself, right? So this is something to keep your eye on for sure. This could have, I think it's got major ramifications going forward for the entire industry. I really do.
Here's the thing with that is, so as long as they start making the right deals, because this is clearly where things are going to go. There's no doubt in my mind that Disney, Amazon, I mean, Amazon's buying MGM. MGM is a distribution company, right? They are a studio. They will distribute movies. That's going to allow them to put their films in theaters as well as then have it on Amazon to keep the subscribers happy. Netflix is, working that deal with Cinemark for their films. They already did that with Army of the Dead. The success of Army of the Dead at 400 Cinemark screens is the reason why they signed Netflix and then worked out a deal. Now they're working out a deal with Christopher Nolan and people like Steven Spielberg and Scorsese are going to demand that their movies be played on the big screen. Clearly, Netflix is trying to move into that territory. And right now, all of the other studios are coming at it from a top-down perspective, where they've run the game for so long. Now they're dealing with this new world, and they're freaking out over it. Whereas the other guys, Netflix, Amazon, whoever else, they're like, look, we can work our way in and go from the bottom up and start building out something that's going to benefit us directly. While the other ones are left kind of holding the bag, which is why I think Universal and Peacock and Paramount Plus are probably going to end up going and being not purchased, but licensed out to like Netflix or Amazon.
Possibly. I would just be very concerned if I was a studio that owned a streaming service right now, because this whole thing could go belly up at any moment.
It's really not that big of a deal. It really isn't that big. Grace, I didn't see your video, but based upon what you're saying, the ramifications over streaming is going to boil down to just contract. It's just going to be like, okay, right. There might be now, look, let me just say, like,
well, it's more money that goes into paying off the actors and talent and less money going into content creation.
Yeah, but see, Netflix pays up front, which is how they avoid this problem. And additionally, the other side of that though is there's no royalties on streaming. Right? There's really no royalties on streaming. And there's something that I've been watching come out of a lot of film writer Twitter, because I follow a lot of screenwriters and people who work in television and whatnot. And they're pissed off that they get paid, but there's no royalties on streaming. And that was a big reason why there was a threat of a writer's strike a couple of years ago, because there was no royalties. And if the actors are now wanting royalties for streaming and they want to get a cut of that monthly revenue, because monthly revenue or a subscription price is not going to be specifically, outlined for or earmarked for one movie. It's like when the Snyder Cut came out, I saw all these people going like, oh man, like, it got 2.4 million views and that, think they're equating it to being like the price of a ticket per view, which is not the case. So
right,
the amount of money you think,
ridiculous.
Yeah. But people are, and a lot of people kind of view that like, how do you break that down? How do you issue out those kind of royalties? This is a reason why Disney wants to do all this stuff where they pay for it up front and they don't have to worry about that. The reason why Kevin Feige is overseeing the Marvel television stuff now the way that he's doing it is because his job has been, and this is how it even works at Marvel Studios, is that he is the guy who works with the talent. He keeps the talent happy. And so I did see Daniel here with $5. Thank you. Says, how much of this beef between Kevin Feige and Scarlett, or is beef between Kevin Feige and Scarlett, or is this above his pay grade? This is above his pay grade, because Feige,
way.
Feige has very much been, he's wanted everything to be in theaters. He knows where the audience is.
And he cares about his talent.
Yeah, Disney probably should not have done the premiere access. You know, I don't know if they left money on the table theatrically. I know that, you know, but would it still have had the same? How much longer
could they have delayed the movie though? Because again, the way the MCU is structured, they can't just like not release this stuff. They have to release content in order to follow the storyline they've set up. So I think sadly they were just in a lose-lose situation with this.
No, they are, and they should settle, and they should make it right, and they have the money to do both. And
I don't
honestly,
know why there already hasn't been an announcement about it.
Well, it's because right now they're gauging the response in the trades. They're gauging the response.
It's not good for them.
It's like two chihuahuas. There's like a fence between them, and they're barking at each other and yipping like crazy. And then eventually they'll both walk away, get some treats, calm down. They'll come back.
Well, if you guys recall, Todd Phillips did in fact sue Warner Brothers over the profits to Joker. So this kind of thing also happens. This is not ultimately a personal thing. Scarlett will not have a fight with Kevin Feige over this. This is simply her management team, her lawyers, her agents. They all work together, and they're like, we got cut out of this deal that we were going to make money off of. It's a business decision. It's a business choice, and they're going after it, and Disney's responding with, well, this is a meritless lawsuit, and they're not taking into account the horrific actions of the pandemic. And it's like, dude, everyone's feeling it. You can't use the pandemic to stop it anymore.
Yeah, including her, obviously.
But she also didn't say that the pandemic was the issue. She simply, her case simply stated, this is something where, we did not agree to this. This is where they violated the contract. They breached the contract. All that they're saying is that that what they agreed upon was breached. That's it. And so really what's going to happen, my take, is that they're going to settle. They're going to settle. They're going to try to, they're going to posture a little bit because it's fucking Disney. Of course they're going to posture. They're going to posture a little bit, and then they're going to settle it quietly into an undisclosed sum, and everyone's going to go away fat, dumb, and happy.
Yep, they just want everyone to forget about it.
And here's here's the thing: I can't find any information about Black Widow going to Disney Plus for free sometime this month. So I don't know where that information is coming from. I think Comic Book Cast 2 talked about it or something. Someone told me that today.
Let me look. I know they announced the Blu-ray date. Black Widow. Blu-ray.
Yeah, Benson here says Black Widow is the #1 most pirated film since its release. Yeah, I talked about that actually last week or the other week or whatever. I brought that up. And
so you're going to be able to buy it digitally, like on iTunes and stuff, and from digital platforms on August 10th. So it's not going to go to Disney Plus in August. The Blu-ray will come out September 14th. So you can probably expect it to be on Disney Plus for free in October.
Yeah, they're going to keep to it. They're not going to. Okay, that would make sense because I'm like, why would they put it on Disney Plus? That would screw everybody over who dropped the $30 on it. I mean, I already feel the $30 is too expensive anyway.
Right. You'll probably be able to buy it for like $25 and rent it for $15. Then you can buy the Blu-ray, and then it'll come out on streaming like a month later.
And I think we're going to see a fair amount of sales coming off of that. When we get more. Because there are people who do want to buy it who aren't able to get it on, who didn't go to the theater. Because, again, a lot of people out there didn't go to the theater.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff going on. I've been hearing about, COVID and the Delta variant, some stuff, potentially more lockdowns in the United States coming within the next month. And it's getting scary out there. So I think, I don't know.
I mean, even tonight, I at the beginning of the show, I was talking about going to see Suicide Squad. And people are asking me like, oh, was that capacity? Did you wear your mask? And I'm like, yeah, I wore my mask and it was at capacity. So, what is this? What is the pizza emoji?
Maybe it's a tribute to Lucky the Pizza Dog.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that. Obviously, as time goes on, we'll talk about it. But it is almost 2:00 in the morning here. I do need to wrap this up. I got to get to bed. We'll take a couple last little questions if anyone has anything they want to discuss. But let me ask you guys here: are you guys planning on going to see the Suicide Squad,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna go
100%.
see it day
or
one.
are you going to watch it on HBO Max?
No. For me, I'm gonna go see it in the theater. Hopefully IMAX.
I feel like that's a film that should be seen in the theaters just based on the trailer. So I'm gonna go see it in the theaters.
Matt, from 1 to 10, how much did you love King Shark? A 9, solid 9. Like I
Okay.
loved.
Nine's
I thought
respectable.
I liked. He had. Well, there was a couple times where I don't want to say what it is.
Okay, let me ask you this: 'cause did the movie justify making a Peacemaker TV show? Did it feel like okay, you're actually?
I can't talk about that without spoiling some shit. So I can't talk about that.
Because I noticed you didn't talk about Peacemaker very much in your reaction video, so I was just
Yeah.
In
curious.
6 days it's coming out, right? Or
Yeah.
7?
Yeah, next week. It's yeah, I don't want to that's such a tough one. That's a tough topic because there's some stuff there's stuff. I don't want
shit,
to
there's stuff that happens in the movie?
There's
Whoa.
I know. Oh my god, it's like watching Masters of the Universe Revelation all over again.
All right.
Stuff happens.
So we've
to
established
characters.
there's stuff, but are there things?
There are things.
Oh, shit.
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things in this. It's definitely there's some stuff. It's so crazy. Some of the stuff in this movie. The fact that DC let some of the stuff happen in this movie the way that they did really goes to show you that they're like, let's just let's let this thing happen.
Let's just throw
Just
shit at the
leave
wall and
James
see what
Gunn alone.
happens. Yeah, just let James Gunn do whatever the fuck he wants. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. That gives me some hope.
Hold on, Shiftygism here says there were 200,000 people at a hip hop wrestling show in Miami last Friday.
Yeah.
200,000 people.
I remember that it was covered on the news. Yeah, it was a WWE thing for Fox. I think it was some kind of event.
But
There's something else-
200,000 people?
Yeah, and nobody was wearing masks. It's just look at what happened in Milwaukee with the Bucks.
Yeah, a
when
bunch
they
of
won the
rednecks.
championship. Well, I don't know about Milwaukee being full of rednecks, but
You'd be surprised.
What? I just don't see 200,000 people. Is there what was this for?
it was a hip hop wrestling show. It was like a hip hop concert mixed with some wrestling in there. It was sponsored by Fox and WWE.
Sponsored?
All right. Let's see here. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. Jesus Christ. The hip hop festival, which took place at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, was packed to the brim with close to 200,000 fans in attendance. So many people are going to die.
It'll be fine, Matt. Those people will be perfectly fine. Don't worry. I bet you 200,000 were vaccinated.
In Florida?
Yeah, of course.
Don't you mean
Florida.
like just let's say 20,000? I'll give it a solid 10%. All right. So many people are going to die. Benson here says here he's watching it tonight, not waiting for the budget matinee as recommended by the chance.
Man, he's throwing the punches.
He's
man.
throwing some shade. He's throwing some shade at a lounge. But that's it's for you guys to figure that one out. Am I excited for J.K. Simmons and Batgirl? Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, I'll have to probably eat crow.
Yeah,
if that
confirms
happens.
it confirms the movie will be in the DCEU. So there you go.
Well, I mean, this is even in the DCEU. Like, so Suicide Squad is.
Well, I know. I'm saying it's going to be the main continuity. So anyone who's been in Birds of Prey or Ben Affleck or those characters can exist in this universe in that
Oh,
story.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe those characters do exist in the same universe.
Welcome to DC, baby.
Yeah, where anything and everything is a reality.
Even
Just
Yeah.
don't expect continuity. Don't expect
It's
connectivity.
it's like the Fox X-Men movies at this point.
But
It
those
really
at least
is.
have a continuity. Those at least have a
Barely-
continuity over
barely
the
had a
span of
continuity.
20 years.
Well, no, that's better. It's better than this for sure.
What do you mean barely a continuity?
Well, I'm just saying there's some herky
X-Men 1,
stuff.
X-Men 2,
They
X-Men
tried.
3.
They tried
Uh,
to give it a
Well, I'm
The
saying
Wolverine.
X-Men 3 and how it connects to First Class, and they got some continuity errors, a lot of them.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right,
okay,
you're right.
okay, well there's first look, but it's tangential at best.
True.
You
okay,
can
true.
look you can overlook some of those plot elements as being not the most connected, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's still vastly connected. Days of Future Past pretty much brought all that shit together. And
then they killed it with Apocalypse. Yes.
Yeah, that is also very true. And then we had Dark Phoenix, which ended it. But we got Logan between Days of Future Past and the end of it. So,
I still lament the fact that Logan should have been the last
Yeah,
movie.
that should have been the last film. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
I don't disagree. I think I like Logan is the shit. That's such a great film. All right. Command unit here with 15 shekels says Daddy Nurgle is happy. I don't know what that is. What is Daddy Nurgle?
I'm afraid to Google that.
Hold on. Now I'm looking up here. Daddy Nurgle. It's the Warhammer thing. Right. I got to bring on Voice of the Emperor to talk about the thing with Games Studios. I think it's the company behind it. But thank you very much for that.
Shitgisms is correct though. There's 2 different Emma Frost. Scott Summers is like different ages every single time he's in these movies. There's a lot of
quiet. I don't want to ruin my point, Shifty.
They had 2 Emma Frost, dude. It made no sense. Why is there 2 of them? Why is Patrick Stewart like 80 years old in X-Men 3 when in the like? But
I've got a question for you.
Dark Phoenix takes place like what 5-6 years before the 2000 movie, according to them now.
No,
I am not gonna suffer your nonsense, Archie.
I'm just saying those movies.
I love those movies. I do. All right, like I
There's
do
like
love
maybe
those movies.
3 good ones.
There's more than 3 good ones. I know you're gonna say X-Men 1, X-Men 2, and Days of Future Past.
No, I was gonna say X-Men 1, the Wolverine, and Logan.
All right. Logan is equivalent to basically 3 good movies because it's.
This is a hot take. This is a hot take for me. I love the Wolverine. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
Some people hate it for the 3rd act.
I've never seen it. I've never actually seen that movie.
When that movie was over, and the post-credit scene played, right? When I saw that, I was in the theater. I had goosebumps. I was making audible noises because I'm like, I did not know that they were going to have Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen back in that post-credit scene. Like, it blew me away. The Wolverine was a great film. Logan was a great film. X-Men 1, X-Men 2, First Class, Days of Future Past. There are more good movies than there are bad movies. I would even throw in like Dark Phoenix is not a terrible movie. It's not a terrible movie. There's elements
yes, it
of
is.
it. No, it's not. Shh.
They had Storm make the kids ice cubes.
Who cares? Apocalypse is a bad movie.
Apocalypse is
a bad. At least they killed off fucking Mystique early on in Dark Phoenix.
Here's my question for you then. What did that movie get right better than any other film in the franchise? What does it have to offer that is not done better in one of the other films? Anything? Anything at all?
Wait. Ask the question again. I was reading the chat.
Okay, so like, what does that movie do better than literally any other film in the X-Men franchise? Like, what does that film have to bring to the table that isn't done better in one of the other X-Men?
Wait, Dark Phoenix?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, probably everything is done better elsewhere.
Okay, then like it has no worth.
Well. Actually, hold on. I'll say this: the final act in the train was fucking awesome. I don't care what anyone's that fucking action scene in that train when everyone is going full ham was fucking epic.
I will give you it was a good action scene, but I don't think one good action scene could ever justify
whatever, dude. Like, look, you got fucking Nightcrawler going full ham. Nightcrawler full fucking ham.
I mean, that was cool, but very brief too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not as good as, again, we had the opening of fucking X-Men 2 with him going full ham in the White House, which is excellent too. But you had that in conjunction with Magneto going full fucking crazy. Everyone utilizing their powers to the max of their abilities in that moment. It was fucking. I
just
love
don't
that
understand how you screw up the Dark Phoenix storyline twice. It's
with the same writer. With the same writer, by the way. The same writer.
No, I understand how you screw it up twice with the same writer.
Well, yeah. I guess fool me once, shame on you. Fool me once, fool me twice. Fuck you, Simon Kinberg.
By the way, Jubilee.
Jubilee is the most useless character in the X-Men franchise. She's just so useless.
She's a great character.
You can make any character great if you portray it properly.
She's a great character.
Yeah,
in those movies, and they ruined Rogue. I will never forget the X-Men movies. How they botched Rogue. Rogue was so much better than she was.
Botch Rogue.
Oh,
They just ended up like, look, I mean, maybe by number 3, okay, but I understand number 3 because we're following her journey about wanting to be loved and wanting to be able to touch and wanting to be able to actually connect with somebody. That's what it was. Like, that's the whole point of it. You have to look at this from a human-based storyline.
I want my goddamn Southern Belle flying rogue, Matt.
And you know what you're probably gonna get it with the upcoming whatever the fuck they're doing. That's probably gonna happen, but
yes,
you have to wait a while.
For Rogue to be taking Captain Marvel's powers and putting her in a coma. The Phantom Menace will say, "Oh look, Brie Larson's out, we won," and then she'll come back a year later. But,
pretty much.
I look forward to a proper Rogue in the MCU.
Well, there you go on that one. Anyway, here, you've got Command Unit here saying, also the Warhammer Plus situation is getting worse. I still need to look into it, man. I'm not a Warhammer guy, so it's not as much on my horizon, but I do need to look at it. There are 2 Psylocks, 2 of them, and neither one wore a Hong.
Oh god, I don't even bring up what they've done. They did a Psylocke, man.
All right. Anyway, let's get to the last one here tonight. Daniel Scott, man, another $5. Thank you, sir. Says, I think the Wolverine is good. I think it gets a bad rap because of the first Wolverine and his standalone film. I actually kind of like the first Wolverine movie up until the end.
I completely agree with Daniel Scott because the entire reason I didn't watch the Wolverine is because I hated X-Men Origins so much.
I know a lot of people didn't want to check it out, but I promise you, like if you've not seen it yet, it's such a good movie.
I probably will check it out.
It's a great adaptation of the Frank Miller comics.
Because Gavin Hood directed X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he went on to go do Ender's Game, which I thought was fucking epic, and I really liked it. But like before then, he did a movie called Tsotsi out of South Africa. So he's a South African filmmaker. That was his first like studio film.
And it
shows.
Took it over.
Well, also because Tom Rothman. Tom Rothman had a Fox at the time, which by the way, just yesterday, Sony re-upped his presidency of Sony Pictures. So what the fuck? But anyway, that's a whole other fight.
If we're talking post like 2000 superhero films, I think X-Men Origins is one of the worst superhero films of all time.
Oh, it is dreadful. The best thing about that movie was the video game that came out on PlayStation 3.
Yeah, that's funny but true. Yeah. Has more merit than the fucking film, that's for sure.
I don't know. Like I'm just looking forward to this. Like whatever. I will say there, Benson does make a good point. You'll realize how bad the X-Men movies are when the first Feige X-Men movie is released. But see, at what point though? Because Kevin Feige was an associate producer on the first X-Men, and then he produced the other X-Men movies, and he ended up becoming an executive producer because he was Marvel's
X-Men
point of contact.
How he got into Marvel Studios. It was X-Men and X2, and then he jumped to Spider-Man, I think, right?
Yeah, and then also Hugh Jackman had admitted that they wanted to have a Spider-Man Wolverine cameo in Spider-Man 2.
That's correct,
but they weren't able to make it work. So that's definitely something that we're gonna. Who knows? We might finally get a Spider-Man Wolverine crossover, and it could be Hugh Jackman. Maybe. At this point, anything is possible.
Nothing's off the table at this point.
I know. And he's like, I know. I don't want to go back. It's been what 4 years now since Hugh Jackman retired the role.
He got the best send off of any live action comic book character ever.
I think for one last appearance in like a special Avengers movie where it's just him in the
background. Here's the thing.
Story. He looks like completely different. I'm talking like old man Logan, like full on white beard.
Look, I wouldn't turn down a cameo, but I want a new Wolverine too.
Oh no, they will. I'm just saying like a one-off cameo for like one
that'd be fine.
Avengers movie, like Doctor Strange 2 or something.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that, 100%, as long as it's done well. Like but still.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end here. We're about 2 hours in. Where can everyone find you guys? Annie.
YouTube.com/Underhaven. I'm starting to stream more. At the end of this month, I'm going to be streaming pretty much every day for a whole week because I'm celebrating the fact I just raised money for a new computer. So go check out that shit. If you like my takes, maybe go check out my own channel.
Yeah. Underhaven. Yeah. And then of course, Resident fucking Justice.
Yeah. All right. As for me, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Resident Justice. Same for you too. I'll put a link in the chat to my channel. And yeah, if you want to watch me talk about some of the Marvel stuff that broke earlier today, we talked about that. And you can see Saggy Melon's rage for about 20-30 minutes. That's always fun.
I've dealt with that already, so it might be worth a listen to laugh at because her rages are pretty funny because the Boston comes out pretty hardcore.
It does very hard.
she's she's it's all good. But anyway, everyone, thank you again so much for tuning in tonight. I know it was a late stream, but for even being like an hour or so later than usual, we still pulled in about 80 people, which is just fucking cool. If you guys haven't already, toss down a like. Thank you again. We'll be back on tomorrow night for another episode of Hollywood After Dark, and you guys have yourself a great night, and peace out.